Welcome to the new year, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you all enjoyed the holidays, and I pray for this to be a wonderful new year for you all. And so, now it's time to get back to work. I'm looking at this year, and I am hopeful. I plan to do a lot of preparing this year, as I do believe this year will be a very strange and bizarre year for many of us. So, I just want to put some things out there for all of us to think about moving forward from this day. Listen, we all have things in our lives right now that we still have to fix. Here's the thing. Time is of the essence, and it is almost up. Metaphorically speaking, we are between the walls of the Red Sea, and those waves could come crashing in at any moment. Do you know what that means? That means that everyone must keep up, myself included. I'm going to have to keep up. And there is no looking back at this moment. It's over back there. The only thing back there is death. And it will catch up to you if you take your time to turn around and look back. Don't look back. God has shown us scripturally that when people look back, they lose their lives. So you either have to keep up or stay ahead of the crowd. So today I want to explore an idea that is rather bizarre and some would say disturbing. And that is the preparations for what I wouldn't say is an invasion, but an arrival. I know many of you can see it too when you make the connections. And you can see that everything that is happening is getting us primed for an event. You may have heard people talk about terraforming our planet to allow for an alien species to live among us. It's purposed to get you ready for the world ahead of you, the new world. When I say new world, what I mean is we may be entering into a world that is truly stranger than what we consider to be science fiction. I know many of you are familiar with the story of the Anunnaki, or even the story of fallen angels. The idea is that extraterrestrial beings came here a long time ago. And when they did, they altered the course of human existence. Later, there was a reset, a global catastrophe, an extinction-level event where the only escape was by ark. In the biblical narrative, the only ones who escaped are Noah and his family. However, in the Anunnaki story, or a version of it, some of the Anunnaki escaped by ship, as well as some humans. What happened to those humans? Now here's some news you may have heard recently. NASA hired 24 theologians to study human reaction to aliens. New book. Between heaven and earth, where do aliens fit in? That's the question that NASA hopes theologians at the Center of Theological Inquiry, CTI in Princeton, New Jersey, can answer in a recent effort to understand how humans will react to news that intelligent life exists on other planets. University of Cambridge religious scholar Reverend Dr. Andrew Davison, who also holds a doctorate in biochemistry from Oxford, is one of the 24 theologians enlisted to help with the project, the Times UK reported last week. I was doing an online search and I came across a book published back in 2013 entitled 2022, What Will Happen to Us When the Anunnaki Return to Earth in 2022. Now, I haven't read the book yet, but coming across the title spoke volumes to me. So, does anybody else get the feeling that they want to tell us really bad that alien life exists? I know that if disclosure comes, of course, people are expecting them to disclose microbial life, perhaps on Mars or an asteroid or something. But that is really nothing to lose your religion over, right? But okay, let us entertain this scenario. If there was an arrival of alien beings, not an invasion, but a visitation, what if they came here not to help us, but for us to help them? Let's say something large and artificial entered our orbit and stayed there for a while. That alone would cause a paradigm shift. Many things would change here on the surface just for that thing in the sky. Now, I'm going to tell you part of this is real and part of this is set up as a manufactured lie. The real part would be the technology, the craft, the ship. The lie is what comes down off that ship. Something people would not be expecting. You see, the beings that come down off that ship may not look like us and may seem quite alien to us until the lab results of their DNA test come back revealing that they are indeed human. And see, this is where the priests come in. Because I'm going to tell you that is what's going to change people spiritually. When they realize that all this time humans have been living somewhere else other than Earth. And it's all going to be a trick, I'm telling you, a huge scam. Hundreds of years in the making, maybe longer. And when you think about all the time the devil has had to pull this off, people are not going to know what to do about it. You know, we already make adjustments to our lives to accommodate people who have disabilities, who have chronic diseases, who have special needs. We've set up programs for people in need. We've set up all these different types of things to set people up here on Earth. What's going to happen when we have to accommodate people who are not from this planet? Everything changes. People's concepts, ideas of the past and future change. Ideas about religion change or get abandoned altogether. Currency changes, communications change, laws change, food changes, technology changes, everything. What do these alien beings eat? We haven't even gotten to that part yet. Now, if this were to happen any time in the near future, it would probably be during a time where the Earth is just falling apart at the seams. Megaquakes, supervolcanoes, mega tsunamis, superstorms, political and conventional war. We are already going to be very busy and preoccupied when and if these visitors come. Maybe God wants to gather all the humans, terrestrial and extraterrestrial, all in one place for the final show and coming judgment. But we don't know that. It would be a mess. And many people are not going to be able to handle that type of arrival on top of everything else. A lot of people won't believe that it's real. And this is just all a big what if, right? So here's another big what if. What if some of the human extraterrestrials are already here? Throughout human history, actually throughout all of human history, there have been slaves. The 18th and 19th century slave trades thrived as a result of colonial powers. And even today, there is a massive black market revolving around trafficking. People are smuggled across borders, kidnapped. We keep people in prisons for years. People were at one time and are today kept in camps. They are tortured and experimented on. There are even cases where humans have been isolated from other humans for their entire lives. All that happens on this planet with rules and governments. Now, taking all of this behavior off Earth isn't much of a stretch if we are to believe that secret black budget technology is more than 50 years ahead of what is made known to the public. So think about this. What happened here in America after slavery ended? Former slaves had to find lost loved ones or family. They had to find jobs and homes. If you have a galactic trade of humans to some off-world colony that for some reason were freed, people already have a hard time migrating from country to country as refugees. How well will people accept and welcome people not born on Earth? How well are extraterrestrial humans going to adapt to the environment here on Earth? It is definitely esoteric, but is it any more crazy than many of the other ideas I discuss that are out there? It is interesting to entertain the idea of a galactic empire of alien races for a short period, because then you tend to rely on information that is coming from spirits through mediums. We have several rich and powerful people who want to start an off-world colony, perhaps on Mars. Big mistake. So it's no longer a matter of what's possible, but a matter of what God will allow to happen. Human colonies on the moon and Mars, if it hasn't happened already, it probably ain't gonna happen. I don't think we have that much time, and I firmly believe they had the technology to do this many years ago. I know God said spread out and multiply, but did he mean all the way to Mars and beyond? If you were to go back and look through all the presentations I've done on space, it may be easier to see the connections, to see the agenda. And you will be able to see the speed up of progression just within the past few years when it comes to the technology. They have just launched the James Webb Space Telescope, right? How did NASA figure out how to pound gold so that it is only atoms thick? Think about that. Can you take gold and flatten it so flat it is only atoms thick? And gold is that malleable, by the way. And where is all this tech coming from in such a short period of time anyway? Either NASA is hiring straight up Tesla geniuses, or they are bringing things out they've had hidden in the closet all these years. That's an expensive telescope. What are they trying to see? They are trying to see something we can't. Something hidden in the infrared spectrum, obviously. The main reason you and I can't see it is because of the sun's light. No matter how good of a telescope or camera you have, there is a distortion of light wavelengths here. And space-time, for that matter. That telescope is an international mission, and there is a reason why it must be in space and not here on the ground, as we seem to be paired with a twin system that is virtually invisible. You know what's weird about space? Every night we look up at darkness with stars in it. But space is not dark. We only see a fraction of the stars that can be seen on the surface with scattered light and the atmosphere, light pollution. If you were in space and you took the sun, the moon, and Earth away, taking out the reflections and light scattering, you would then see the never-ending sea of stars surrounding you in all directions. It's the same idea as putting your hand in front of the sun to block the light so that you can see what's around the sun a bit better. I did some research to find out what missions they have planned for this year. A few missions involving rovers and the moon. They also have a mission planned for some metal asteroid they just happened to stumble upon. Needless to say, there's going to be quite a bit to discuss when it comes to space this year. It will be unavoidable and hard to ignore some of the discoveries and innovations we will learn of as well. Not to mention the increase in fireballs and asteroid near misses, all leading up to a meteor event. Large enough to get the world's attention, but small enough to where not too many people are hurt, I pray. Which may be followed up by the arrival of extraterrestrial human refugees. There is more to come. We are just getting started. Be sure to visit WoodwardEntertainment.com and the Woodward Entertainment Store. Thanks for spending time with me today. You can follow me on Instagram at jwoodward. And until next time, friends, as always, stay awake, stay aware, stay safe, and I'll talk to you all very soon.